Hello guys, Xiaomi SU7 impact on NIO deliveries is minimal. IM LS6 launch could dent briefly, but NIO battery swap advantage ensures resilience. So guys, the impact of Xiaomi SU7 on NIO deliveries is quite minimal. We all thought it might affect the sales of ET5 and ET5T, but it's actually the opposite. There has been no difference in the sales of ET5 and ET5T. In fact, in the last 2 weeks of March, we saw an increase in deliveries for both these vehicles. For ES6, we received deliveries of up to 100 vehicles in a week, and for ET5 plus ET5T, we received deliveries of up to 1,400 vehicles, which is an increase week by week. But what's interesting is that SU7 has been compared to Tesla Model 3, and Model 3 has seen a decrease in deliveries week by week, dropping from 3,186 to 2,869. This is for the 3rd and 4th weeks of March. Interestingly, Xpeng deliveries haven't been affected much either. So what we are seeing now is that most of Xiaomi deliveries are coming from Xiaomi fans who are not particularly interested in cars. These people, in reality, are not very impressed with Xiaomi SU7 when it comes to cars. In terms of specs, it doesn't compete with a great car. And this is their first car. They made it in just 3 years. So there will be some shortcomings. So yes, it seems that most customers are coming from Xiaomi fans, and it hasn't affected NIO deliveries much. But a car that is launching soon could have an impact on NIO deliveries. And I think this can have an impact on NIO deliveries. And just to clarify, if you think about Xiaomi brand and NIO brand, they are completely different in terms of levels. So, as some would say, NIO brand is much more premium, much more luxurious than Xiaomi. So, people who are just stuck on NIO brand, they won't really consider Xiaomi car. Right? This is just about the brand, nothing else. It doesn't match their family status, if I've made that clear enough. But the other car that can impact NIO ET5 and ET5T deliveries is the IM LS6, which is going to enter the market very soon, and it will have a solid-state battery. This will be the first car to enter the market with a solid-state battery. Completely solid-state battery, alright? This is not NIO hybrid solid-state battery. NIO battery is half solid-state and half lithium-ion. So, this is something you should remember. Yes, it has a 900-volt architecture. It has a crab walking feature in the rear wheel's steering. And it also has dual-chamber air suspension. It's a very good package in a very affordable sedan. Alright? This might be close to the pricing of the SU7. But you can say that IM brand is luxurious. It's above Xiaomi brand in terms of luxuriousness, but I will definitely say it's below NIO. But this is quite close to an apples-to-apples comparison. And recently, they conducted a Moose test, and that car achieved a maximum Moose test score of 71 km/h. But what's really impressive is that it was done autonomously. Nobody was sitting in the driver's seat. It was just a car driving itself. So, with a driver who knows what the actual score could be. We know that the NIO ES6 has actually achieved one of the highest scores in the Moose test, which Car Don't Trade has ever tested. So, in terms of performance, NIO is quite good. But don't underestimate this car, from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds, 900-volt system, solid-state battery with a range of over 1,000 km. So, they have all the right things and they might come with a blockbuster price. They will definitely outperform the Xiaomi SU7, which people have tested and seen in China, they say about this car. Yes, if you're thinking about the SU7, then let your horse stop because this car is much better. So, in my personal opinion, these are things you should be careful about. Okay, now, it's impossible not to. I want to make it clear that NIO cars are more resistant to competitors. Okay? NIO deliveries are more resistant to competitors. If competitors bring a good car, NIO will still deliver good numbers. Whereas for some others, like IM LS6, Xpeng G6, when they launch, their initial deliveries are good, but then they fade away. Why? Because they have been undermined by others. In terms of competition, others come with better specs. They say everything, and then they are undermined and deliveries decrease. NIO is more resistant to these competitors because people buy NIO for battery swapping. This is quite, it's quite a no-brainer. Like any kind of crazy specs that some other cars have, and you might be swayed to buy other cars. But when it comes to ultimate usability and convenience factor, people still buy NIO for battery swapping. NIO deliveries are more resistant, as people know. The truth is that the IM LS6 sedan, which is launching very soon, on April 8th, could dent the deliveries of ET5 and ET5T a bit. And it's fair to say, it's also due to their policy adjustment. And deliveries are actually going to increase because people are ordering the car eagerly. With these new policies, there are many incentives. People are buying cars. But maybe there will be a slight dent, but it will be temporary. The LS6 car will shock some people, and they will say, "Wow, this car is great." But after a while, it will fade out like other cars. Whereas NIO remains basically consistent. They are more resistant to competitors because people choose NIO for battery swap. If you just look at the specs, ignore battery swap, then some cars are better than NIO on paper, apart from quality and service. But battery swap is the ultimate factor that customers consider when buying NIO, and its convenience is very significant. Look, if you look at some other cars, their acceleration is better. Some cars also have dual-chamber air suspension, whereas ET5 and ET5T only have spring suspension with CDC, and NIO ET5 and ET5T don't have a heads-up display. Whereas if you look at Zeekr, Xiaomi SU7, and IM LS6, all of them have heads-up displays. All these are the things that customers want. But NIO isn't offering them much because, as you know, the ET5 and ET5T are NIO most basic cars. Customers don't want too many extra features in a basic car. So, that's a difference. But still, it's NIO. They also have a battery swap system. So, despite some complaints, people still choose NIO for the battery swap. And all this is to make space for the ONVO sub-brand, where their car is coming with all the features customers want. And they can make a better car than the ET5 and ET5T in terms of specs, and maybe even better than the ES6 in terms of specs. So maybe things like air suspension, maybe a motor, heads-up display, big horizontal screens, comfortable seats, and even a fridge, all those things. If you put them in the NIO main brand, it will be a very expensive car. But of course, in the sub-brand, you won't get as much luxury, you won't get NIO service. And of course, warranties and everything will be different. So that's also something to consider. So friends, remember, at the end of the day, NIO sales won't be affected much by Xiaomi SU7, and the IM LS6 will dent it. But over time, it won't have that much impact. NIO is always strong against competitors. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more stock predictions and market insights. Remember to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy investing, and see you in the next video.